The CERB is meant to help all Canadians who need it, and millions of Canadians will be getting it starting this week. But there are some people who don't yet qualify, who we do need to help. If you're working reduced hours, down to 10 hours a week or less, we will soon announce how you will be able to qualify for the CERB. No one should feel alone in this. No one should wonder how they'll weather this storm without support.
The government has started accepting applications for the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, a benefit of about $500 a week for up to 16 weeks for those hardest hit by the COVID-19 outbreak. Who can apply? Anyone who lives in Canada who has lost all of their income, not just some, and who can expect to be without work for at least 14 consecutive days. Today, those between January and March are intended to apply, or born between those months, rather. Other Canadians can follow on the designated days as pictured there on your screen. You can apply online using CRA's My Account or by calling the number listed there. All of that information is, of course, on our website as well. After you apply, expect to receive payments within 3 business days if you've got those payments by direct deposit, or if you're getting them by mail, it's within 10 days. And you will have to reapply every 4 weeks. The program, as we mentioned, runs 16 weeks. So will this benefit be expanded to include Canadians who've lost most but not all of their income? Carla Qualtrough is the Minister of Employment. She joins us from Vancouver. Hi, Minister. Good to see you. Thanks for your time.
Hi there. Thanks for having me.
The primary question I have for you, the Prime Minister today said that people who, for example, have lost most of their income but not all of it, or who work fewer than 10 hours and used to work 40, would in the coming days be addressed via something. I don't know exactly what. Can you be more specific for us? What can those people who are watching tonight expect from your government?
Well, we know that there are people who are working and who have had significant loss of income, reduced hours, that aren't eligible for the CERB. Now, part of that was out of necessity at the beginning to design a benefit that would apply to the most people as quickly as possible and as confidently that the system would hold up as possible. And now we have to look at people who have not been eligible. Those would include people with reduced hours, people who have not or have some income but haven't lost all of their income. And we're looking at ways we can do this, both in combination of the CERB and the wage subsidy that we announced. The other thing we know, Vashi, is that if we keep more people attached to their jobs, at the other side of this public health crisis, we'll be better positioned to rebound economically.
So on the first part of your answer, though, on what those people who your government does acknowledge, aren't covered by this, are you looking at full coverage? Like, would they have access to the CERB in some other fashion, or are they going to be only able to access partial funds, let's say?
Well, we're looking at a couple of models, but what I can tell you is the most important piece of this is it has to be simple and deliverable right away. So we can't design a very complicated stage process that requires a bunch of coding and algorithms, and it will take weeks and weeks to test. We have to deliver a flat rate whenever we do these right now to as many as people, have it automated, and make sure that everybody can actually get it, right? Because we know we've tried in the past systems that haven't worked, and I've been responsible for some of those. And I can tell you, for this one, it was about automation, simplicity, and delivery.
And what's the latest number of people who have applied for the CERB? Do you have that on hand?
I sure do. So as of today, 642,000 people applied for the CERB today alone, raising the total since March 15th of EI and CERB combined to around 3.1 million. As of this morning, we'd processed 2.2 million of those.
2.2 million of the combination?
Yes. Well, because as of this morning, we didn't have any CERB. So As of this morning, we had 2.5 and we processed 2.2 of those. And now as of this evening, we have an additional 600 to add to the math, which are currently being processed. And tomorrow we'll update the processed numbers.
Okay. And when you say that for people who aren't yet covered but might fall into this next category, when you say that you don't want a system that takes weeks to test, is it fair to interpret that if I am one, because we keep hearing from people who are in that situation quite often, if they're watching right now, that they can expect, they should know how much money they might get access to within this week?
Well, it depends, of course, the vehicles we choose. And as you know, we had to legislate the CERB. So depending on what we do and how we deliver it, you may find that we have to legislate changes to the CERB, or we might incorporate something into the wage subsidy instead, because that legislation is anticipated to go before Parliament very soon. So it's really right now figuring out the easiest and quickest way to get these people money and how much. And of course, we want to make sure that we treat everybody fairly. So as soon as you put a limit on anything, there are people on either sides of that, and we really don't want to exclude people. So if I say you can make X, there's always going to be one person making X plus $10 who isn't going to benefit. So we're really wrapping our brains around different options that won't have such dire consequences for people on other sides of these limits.
How soon is that legislation coming before Parliament? Will it resume this week?
Well, I don't know. Certainly it will be the end of the week if it does. I don't think we're precluding going in on the weekend, to tell you the truth, but those conversations are happening right now with the opposition. We're working very hard to have no surprises, where we let them know what we're anticipating putting in a new piece of legislation, and the House leaders and the opposition leaders are working very closely together. And of course, the Minister of Finance, as we're drafting this next piece of law, is working very hard to get a simple wage subsidy. These are hugely complex issues, and massive public policy discussions that should have taken years are being considered and thoughtfully administered within days.
I just have a minute left, Minister, but we just heard from the President of the United States, who said that the 3M saga is over and that they've come to an agreement on the number of masks that will be manufactured for the United States. Have you had any indication about what that means for Canada? Will the flow of masks from the United States resume?
Well, as you know, we've been very direct with our position on this, and really emphasizing that it's in our mutual interest to get to a place where everybody is getting the equipment that they need for their people. And my understanding is that means equipment will flow to Canada. I'm not sure of the numbers. I apologize. I didn't see the President's address, but I am very confident that we will be getting material from 3M into Canada.
Okay, I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for your time this evening, Minister Qualtrough. Really appreciate it.
Nice to see you. Nice to talk with you, I guess. Take care.
You as well. Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.